Okay, December 2nd of 2024, I am just going to do what I'm doing here for a little while anyway. And I'm going to upload this video because I'm in the past here, people. Ministry of Tears, Court Day 1, January 17th of 2013, video number 8 for that year. Now, this in here is just the published date. I don't know. Some of the videos are exactly on the day that they were recorded and then published on that day, where maybe other videos a day or two or whatever went by and then it was published. But for now, because YouTube, they used to have the date on the title within the description, but they changed their HTML coding, and now if you go to the video, it just says 11 years ago. It doesn't give you an approximate time of when this all occurred in real time in terms of video recording. So what it is in the backstory, basically the illegal apprehension of Andre in 2013, because social workers in December of 2012 who were involved with Ciera due to her past history with addiction, they were going to close Ciera's file, right? Because she had been doing so good. But at that time, Joan Duncan, Uncle John's wife, right? Grandpa John, right? His wife was downstairs living in the basement right along with Ciera, Marcaine, and, you know, Austin was running around. He wasn't living here, but, you know, he was always influencing Ciera one way or another, trying to get her to move out and get a little apartment for them. Anyway, or whatever. So she wasn't, you know, she'd leave the kids, Andre, with us, whether Tisha, Shimei, or me, right? And of course, I was getting a big brunt of it in the evenings because, you know, kids were going to work or they were going to school, in terms of Shimei and Tisha, because they were either working at McDonald's or they were going to school, one or the other, right? Just, you know, they couldn't be up at 4 o'clock in the morning waiting for Ciera to come home, where I was with Andre upstairs sleeping. Now, keep in mind, Joan was downstairs, right? And she was a severely mentally ill human being who had multiple psychosis freaking medications and pain medications like oxycodone and Conten and all that other crap. So, you know, with Ciera, she, you know, I don't know, she wasn't doing drugs, people. She was just avoiding, I guess, the basement and taking a break from, you know, the daily grind of parenting. In addition to, I think she was helping one of her friends, you know, who have like grow pot, and then when they have to go harvest it, I think she was helping somebody do that, because I remember a few times she'd come to the house with this shake in a big bag full of, you know, shake. It's called shake. It's just the miscellaneous riff-raff from the marijuana plants that nobody really wants. That's why it's called shake. And she'd give it to me, and I'm like, well, what the hell am I going to do with this big bag? It took me a while to figure it out, but I think that's what was happening too, right? So it was a combination of things. But the point was, she wasn't doing drugs. She was just being tardy. And because I was doing 16-hour days, you know, I was working in the yard, running a household. You know, I had, oh God, I don't know, 8 people in the house, and feeding John, feeding Joan, and, you know, just, and then, yeah. So it was getting tiring, right? So when the social workers came by to close the file, because Ciera had been doing so good. Now, don't forget, she was coming to the park event with me that I had in 2012, when we did our little community outreach outside of Bingy's restaurant. She was there with Andre, looking good, feeling good, participating with what we were doing, and was happy to be a mom, and that was in September. So the social workers in October were getting prepared to close her file because she had been doing so good. But by December, before they finally closed their file, they came and they talked to everybody, and that's when the girls were like Tisha and Shmei, like, well, you know, Ciera hasn't been coming home very much, right? And what do you call it? They were crabbing on about it because they were, you know, she was coming home, but she was just, you know, 3 o'clock in the morning. Where are you? Well, I'm busy. I'll be there. And I'm like, but I'm tired, Tisha, or Ciera. I have to go to sleep, you know. I got to get up in the morning or whatever. So anyway, the social workers got to be in the bonnet saying that, you know, we were complaining about her not coming home. So they wanted to teach her a lesson. Christina, I think her name was Christina. I can't remember the last name, but anyway, this fresh out of college social worker somehow got a hold of Ciera's file because the original social worker apparently had cancer and was off duty for a while, so this new one was a replacement, and she had never apprehended a child yet because she was new to the game, right? And so she came over and, you know, to close the file, but because people were complaining that Ciera wasn't necessarily coming home in a timely manner, the way we thought she should have been, without factoring in that maybe she was trying to avoid Joan. Like, Joan was not an easy person to live with, people. Okay? You know, or whatever. And then, you know, they talk to me and I'm like, you know, I'm 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm calling her and, you know, I'm letting her know that I'm getting tired. I need to get to sleep. And you know, I confirmed that she wasn't coming home. Instead of, you know, she should have been home at midnight. It's going on 4 o'clock in the morning. Where the hell are you? That kind of thing. You do that 1 or 2 times a week or whatever, right? And then, yeah. So, this social worker, I'm telling you, people, and like, it's so wrong, told Ciera on the phone, because Ciera was out, and the social worker said, that's it. Ciera, if Ciera comes home, we're going to go, you're right, she needs to learn a lesson. That's what the social worker said. I'm going to teach her a lesson. I'm going to teach her a lesson. Right? If she comes home and bees around Andre, we're coming in with the police. She specifically said the police. And we're going to take Andre away. And I'm like, holy shit, where did that come from? Well, Ciera has to learn a lesson. She has to learn that she has to come home. And being that she hasn't been coming home the way she should be, she's just not allowed to come home. And if she does come home, I'm coming in with the police to take Andre away. All right. Ciera calls me up on the phone doing whatever she's doing. I'm saying, oh, social workers are here. They're telling me that if you come home, they're going to take Andre. She says, what? She's on the phone, people. And I'm like, yeah. So you can't come home, Ciera, because, you know, I don't know what the hell's going on here. That's how it started, people. That is how it started. That is what made it illegal. This was on December 12th. Was it December 12th? Yeah, because they were coming around by December 5th working on closing her file. And as they were coming, they were gathering what little teeny weeny bit of dirt they could find on Ciera to call a fast card, which they did. They kicked her out by December 12th with the threat of, if you come home, we're taking Andre with the police. Why can't I come home? Because you have to learn a lesson. Okay? They had no grounds to kick her out. She wasn't using drugs. They didn't, test for drugs. None of that crap. Okay? Maybe there was a speculation that maybe when she was out she was doing drugs, but it wasn't confirmed because she would come back fine. Okay? And then she'd pick up with her parental duties until she'd get overwhelmed with whatever the hell was going on downstairs with Joan and whatever other shit was going on. And she just, and she felt safe because Andre was safe, right? If he wasn't with Tisha, he was with Shmei. And if he wasn't with Shmei, he was with me. And the odd time, he was with Uncle Marcaine, right? If, like, in terms of hanging out, boys with the boys kind of thing, right? With good old Uncle John running around in the mix with Auntie Joan coming in on the side. So he was well loved, all right? So that's how it started. And that was in December 12th of 2012. In the middle of winter. No money. I had just spent $800 on a brand new mattress for her. She hadn't even really gotten a chance to sleep in it yet. No food, no shelter, no family protection, severed from her child, being accused of something that she doesn't even know what the fuck she's done wrong outside of she didn't come home in a timely manner. And the family, I guess, was crabbing on about it to the point where the social worker felt that she had to teach Ciera a lesson because obviously we couldn't. Yeah. That's exactly what happened, people. So, she didn't come home. She didn't come home, people. And by December 21st, was it December 11th they kicked her out? Or December, I don't know. All I know is that by December 21st, 10 days after they kicked her out, okay, so I guess they kicked her out on the 11th. Who knows? I'd have to listen to too much trauma in my brain to know exactly what happened on what day. But besides that point, what was I saying? By December 21st, from the actions of that social worker, somebody injected Ciera with heroin because she was disconnected from her methadone. She couldn't get her methadone. She was homeless on the streets in the middle of fucking winter. She couldn't come home for nothing. I'm driving out there giving her clothes, giving her money, giving her food, feeling like shit. Well, the social worker is pressuring me to put Andre in full-time fucking daycare from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the fucking afternoon. Yeah, okay, or whatever hours from the moment it opens to the moment it closes, 5 days a week, as if that was going to do anything good for Andre. And because I had never gone through anything like that before, I didn't know what was going on. Okay, it was like, you get shoved into a corner and you just react. You don't know how to react. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to say. Right? And it's not like you've got a lot of room for movement because you're in a freaking corner. So, during that time, after he was taken, we've got Ciera coming after I got back from court. Right? The first time for court. They took him on the 15th. And within 2 days, I had to take her to court. And then, because the court sided with the social worker, we had to hand in his clothes. So he had clothes to wear. Yeah. And give him his favorite teddy. As if any of those people gave him anything that we gave them, because some of those toys that we dropped off at the Ministry of Children and Family Development to Christine, she had them in her fucking office for months. So that Ciera could see them when she went in to go talk about how to get her kid back. As she's all strung out on fucking heroin now because she's still homeless. Yeah. So, it breaks my heart, people, to see my daughter sabotaged, literally. Not only by the government and their workers, but even by the people out on the street. Because once Ciera got out there, oh God, well, that's just something you're going to pimp, right? That's just something that you can sell your dope to and do whatever you want with. until there's nothing left to do, and then you just, hand them over to the dirty cops, and the cops will take care of the rest? Is that how it works around here in British Columbia, Canada? Because it sure in hell seems so. Right? She was used and abused for 8 freaking years out on those streets, people. And for as hard as I tried and my kids tried to help Ciera, the damage was just, I don't know. It was too many hurdles, too much damage, not enough resources, not enough genuine interest in having people like Ciera get better. The Punjabis don't give a shit. The more the merrier that are out in the streets under those circumstances. Again, we are a commodity, all right? Something to harvest on demand. Not to mention, you don't have to be responsible for them and house them and make sure that there is a quality of living that is equal to all. Because for some strange reason, these people out on the streets don't deserve to have jack shit. And that's a huge problem when that mentality is right across the freaking board. So, nothing worked. Because I couldn't get past the hurdles. Right? And what Ciera needed, she didn't get. Because ultimately, in the end, she was constantly being sabotaged. Set up for failure. And that social worker knew exactly what she was doing when she kicked Ciera out. So anyway, this is my daughter. As we were packing up Andre's clothes. Now, I'm just going to do it this way, people, because I'm listening to these videos and I'm putting them into playlists. And I'm just thinking hard on my life. Seriously.
So we got new pajamas that I'm the problem because...
Yeah, I'm the problem because I didn't agree with full-time daycare for a little boy that had never been separated from his loving family. The only people he had holding and cuddling him and looking after him was Auntie Tisha. Well, obviously his mother doted after him. Ciera doted off after Andre. She really did, people. She looked after Andre really well. Ciera, Tisha, who loved Andre and doted after him when she had him. Same thing with Auntie Shimei. And then, of course, there's Nana, right? And then we had Uncle Marcaine, right? And then Uncle John. At first, Andre didn't like... Oh, no. No, sorry, that's when he came back from foster care. Yeah, Andre grew up with Uncle John. Yeah. For crying out loud, Joan Duncan got to hold Andre. I guess you could say that was her first grandchild, because she'll never get one from Debbie Duncan.
I'm not agreeing with everything.
Yeah, I didn't agree with daycare. Okay, so we're going to take it from when this is court.
But we'll get back to that. Okay, members and friends.
Okay, now Ciera is with me. This was after court. Okay, this is when the decision was made that Andre's going to stay in foster care for the 3 months until they figure out what happened. Yeah. And through that whole time, people, not once did she ever do a P-test. Ciera reminded me of that on several occasions because she wanted me to fight for her about how the fuck I was fighting whatever I could fight. But she said, Mom, they never tested me. They can't say it because they switched it over, right? Oh, she's doing drugs. Well, no, she's not. That's not why the social worker kicked her out, people. The social worker kicked her out because she wanted to teach Ciera a lesson for not coming home. And then when she was being held to account and tried to flip it, and we called her on it, She said, no, that's not what I said. Ciera's doing drugs. And I'm like, no, I don't think so, right? And Ciera was quick to remind me that they never forced her. They never got her to do any of those P things. Nothing. Because they knew they didn't have a case. Why did you think they tried to settle out of court after 15 fucking months? If I would have had the balls to fight it for another 6 months to a year and let him wallow in foster care, I would have won. But I had to put my grandson first after 15 months of being in foster care. And that's, because they knew I would have taken it to the next level, because what they did was wrong. I can't stress it enough. This is how they ruin families, and then they sicken the landlords to raise the fucking rents and everything else and cause trouble so that you lose your housing or you're always inside fighting. I told you. If they keep the family fucking fighting over broken bathrooms and this, that, and everything else under the sun, it gives something for the social workers to complain about, because the family is fighting. And they won't acknowledge what the freaking landlord did or is doing to keep the family fighting. I'm just saying. That's why it's called organized religion in partnership with a corrupt government. Okay? One can't do what the other one does without the other one helping. And of course, when I get into the past like this, I get cynical because I lived it, and I'm still living it to one degree or another. In terms of this, I don't know. Okay, let's just listen for this for a minute.
So what we're doing is we're gathering up my grandson's clothes here. Because, they want them. They want my grandson and they want his clothes. Steal them. They want something.
Yeah, did you hear? Just hold on a minute. Okay, so I think what's going to happen here over my next several videos, I'm not going to put a number on it. It's hard working on this playlist, okay? Plus, I'm trying to put them into their own playlists, okay, in categories, whatever. Any copyrights, whether alive or dead, belong to me, my persons, and my children and grandchildren. That's it, okay? There is no shame to my game. I've said that in the past. I haven't said that for a very, very, very long time. But that's pretty much what it boils down to. When you can't run away from your past, you should not be ashamed of your past. That is not to say that you didn't make mistakes along the way in your past, right? And that whatever happens or happened in the past doesn't define who you are today or who you will be in the future. Because coming in as a newbie onto my channel with all this drama, and if you don't know how the story unfolded around that drama or what instigated various circumstances that created even more drama and fed into the drama and kept the drama moving at a steady pace through cycles. Take one here, kidnap one there, one dies over there, another one disappears over there, right? As you're accusing that one of this over there, right? The one that's trying to hold everybody together is the one that's being accused of things. Like me, for example, because I'm bitching on about how, the court sided with the social worker, right, to follow the status quo of their procedure within the courthouse, where a social worker comes willy-nilly with a child in tow saying, I'm apprehending this child. These are my reasons, which are basically ambiguous when you get to the guts of it, unless, of course, there's really something serious going on in there, right? And then in that situation, you'd side with the court, right? But in this situation, what I'm explaining to you, the judge blindly agreed to allow Andre to stay in foster care for the 3 months, right? So that they could build a case. And that's all they ever tried to do for 15 months, people, was build a case so they could keep him and adopt him out. Andre, right? I went to court 22 times, people, in 15 months. This was only court day 1. Huh. All right. Anyway. So let's just listen for a minute. Ciera was with me. This was after court when we were told that he's staying in foster care for 3 months until I don't know what. And the social worker wanted his clothes and his toys. So we had to go home and pack them up.
His clothes here because, you know, they want them. They want my grandson and they want his clothes. They want to steal them.
There, did you hear? They want to steal him. And that's exactly what they did.
Well, they want something. We still don't know why.
Yeah, we don't know why. They didn't give her a reason. But they did, though, because the social worker kicked her out and told her, if you come home on December 12th, right, or December 11th, no, it was December 10th. What am I thinking? I'm thinking 2012. It was December 10th, because by the 21st, she was indoctrinated into being a junkie with somebody injecting her with heroin as she was coming out of her sleep cycle. She was sleeping. She said she was sleeping. So probably as she was waking up, that's when they did it. And once that happened, that was it. And that's what that social worker was hoping for, and that's why she threw her out in the street on December 10th of 2012. In the middle of winter with no food, no money, no bed, no housing, no family support, and no methadone. And said, if you come home, we are coming in with the police and we're taking Andre away because we're going to teach you a lesson for not coming home. And once we were on that fucking bandwagon, that was it. As soon as they got her out of the house, next thing you know, the social worker's telling me to put Andre in daycare fucking 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And I'm like, holy shit, no, I don't think so. He's never been away from Auntie Shimei, Auntie Tisha, Uncle John, Auntie Joan, me, Marcane, his mother. Never. Not even 2 seconds. And they want me to put him in a room full of fucking strangers? Yeah, okay. And we don't even know what the hell is going on? Okay. Do you know I got this schizo cat in my bathroom? Like, literally. Paige, Carrie's daughter. I met Carrie in 2009 when I was living in that fourplex where the owner of that place was running a freaking grow-op in the shed and hijacking my freaking hydro. Well, anyway, her kids, right, across the next side of the duplex, she had one named Paige. Well, anyway, Paige dropped off this cat yesterday that I guess I gave to her 3 years ago when little Mo was running around. All right, and she wanted one, so I gave her a cat, right? Well, anyway, she brought back this cat, man. I tell you, people, I don't know, there's something seriously wrong with this freaking cat. Like, I don't get scared of cats, but this one, I could see it jumping on me and scratching the shit out of me, and you can't get anywhere near the bloody thing. Holy crumbs, it's in my bathroom right now. I took out my dehydrator, I made it real nice in there, but it seriously has some serious psychological freaking damage. Yeah. This cat's been abused. Yeah. It got thrown off a balcony one time by some crazy person because sometimes Paige doesn't hang out with the most savory people, right? So who knows? But besides that point, you know, anyway. Okay, I gotta calm down.
but it's speculated that I'm the problem because, you know, I'm not agreeing with everything. But we'll find out more. I guess we're going to court tomorrow. As you know, we were at the courthouse, right? So now we're you know, just...
I think that's good. That's good enough.
That's for that. We've got the sleepers.
That's all they're fucking getting.
Hold on. So we got new pajamas that I bought. These ones here all have to be washed because, you know, I changed...
Listening to my dead daughter. I don't know what to do, people. I was just going through the motions. Okay? Like I said, I had never been through anything like that. No. Like, what do? And then you have to send your daughter away. Still. Because you're under a microscope. But you gotta try and figure out a way where you can help her and save her. As if you can save her. As if anyone out on the streets, including the cops and any other government worker that she came into contact with, wanted her to be saved. That wasn't the agenda.
Changes pajamas every day, right? So these ones we're not giving yet until they're washed.
But there's how many there?
I don't know. I've just bought a lot of this stuff. Because he's growing so fast. He grew like an inch while you were gone.
Oh, I know.
It's because everybody kept feeding him. If he wasn't getting it from his mom, he was getting it from Tisha food, right? Just because everybody eats on different schedules. So when they're eating, you know, he comes and they offer and he's eating. So, you know, not everybody ate at the same time. They ate at different hours of the day. So he was coming into contact with food from person to person to person. So he was growing like a little weed.
So 1, 2...
Oh, these are nice.
I know they are nice.
He never even got to wear them with us. Yeah. I know they're nice. Never got them back.
Oh, that fleece that we wanted is so
yeah, that's okay.
And I wanted you to hear that. I went off and I bought a whole bunch of fleece, the elastics, the threads. Ciera was left-handed, right? So I bought her a left-handed pair of scissors, the whole 9 yards. This was in 2012, people. You have to remember, I was starting to get out in that freaking yard. So not only was I battling this fight, but I was out in the fucking yard. Where do you think those 16 hours were? 16 hours. 16 hours in a 24-hour period of being awake, working like a fucking mule came from. Because if I wasn't working in the yard, I was on the inside now taking care of the family, washing the floor by hand, cooking for them, feeding John, feeding Joan, right? Looking after Andre if the, you know what, depending on the time of day or whatever it was. So before you know it, I've been up for 16 fucking hours, basically on my feet all freaking day. I bought her a brand new bed. Obviously, you can see I was buying fucking sleepers because I had the car, so it was easy for me to go out and look around, right, in the thrift stores, right? I go from thrift store to thrift store, right, for the clothes, like those kind of things, right? The bed was brand new, though. That's why it costed $800. I never got to fucking see any of it or use any of it.
3, 4, 5. There's one more there. 6. 6 dirty ones that we're going to wash before she drops them off because we don't want them saying that we're dropping off dirty clothes. Because that's how shady. 8, 9. You got 2 for now, so that's 8, 9. And then this one's 10. So 10 sleepers anyway.
And then a set of pajamas.
And if you had to put a dollar amount on that, brand new, $30 a sleeper, $25 a sleeper. Come on. $250 worth of sleepers? Yeah, okay. Just gave them away and they disappeared. We don't even know if he was allowed to wear them.
For a set of pajamas, he's got his little, you know...
Because anything that we gave them to give the foster care worker, right? Parent or whatever you want to call it, anytime they were having visits with Andre, he was always wearing clothes that nobody recognized. Yeah.
His little, how about his Harley Davidson jacket?
Yeah.
Hey, let's do that.
And then,
I had him out in public with this. I
Probably disappeared.
had him out in public with this.
Careful, his cars.
Yeah, we need to give him some of his cars because I'm sure he's missing them.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved his little cars. He used to line them up. Oh, so nice.
These ones are your...
Not all of them.
These ones.
You can hear her, right? Is she trying to be strong too, people? You see, that was the thing. She didn't know what the hell to think, but she was trying to be strong. Okay? She was still somewhat functional at this stage. But no, they had to take that knife and just dig it in a little deeper and twist it around, throw in a fucking handful of salt. I know, right? Made it worse. Made it hard for me to deal with her, right? With her sorrow and her misery and her freaking feelings of suicide. As my kids, the rest of the family, including Uncle John, are all started to feel suicidal because of what these people had done to our family. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, for these fucking naysayers that get off on this shit, thinking it's a freaking joyride, you know, in terms of perversion, you know, they like perversion. That's what gets their rocks off, is perversion. This is perversion. This boils down to that loosh harvesting, that whatever crawled out from the pits of hell, you know, live on, basically. Yeah. In a mythical sense, I suppose, because you can't really prove that demons and devils and, I don't know, crawl out of a hole. Well, think of a big, damn, dark, deep sinkhole that something starts crawling out of, one after another, and then scatter like fucking ants as they go and destroy everything in their path. That's kind of what it boils down to. You can't prove that's what's happening, but, you know, when you think about it and you look at who's doing what around town, who's prospering, who's not, right? Who's being victimized, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times, but being victimized over and over and over and over again on a cycle, you know, every 2-3 years, it's a new, burp, and you're right back where you started from 20 feet, 30 feet, 100 feet, and you're expected to climb up that mountain so that you can be an equal to your oppressors. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Oh.
Right.
These ones?
Well, here, back up this. Keep Tigger in there and throw this.
There's, yeah. I miss her, people. I love her, people. Right? I feel defeated that I couldn't help her to survive what happened to her in light of her doing so well before this all transpired out of the blue. Because the social workers came by to close the file. No, they didn't fucking close the file. What they did is they opened it wide open for themselves to cash in with this and cash in with that and play favoritisms with their friends, and who knows. Everybody cashed in once Andre was on the other side of the fence. Well, we cashed out. And not only did we cash out, but we crashed. And Ciera crashed the hardest.
He likes his little cars.
Yeah, no, he doesn't like slime ones on.
Not his slippers, though.
No.
Not those ones. I've got others. They took the other pair of slippers.
Where are they?
Those ones are my memorial slippers.
Okay. Oh, a blankie?
Yeah, blanket.
Where's his teddy bear?
And the thing is, you can't get the past back. You know, like my eyes, you know, I wish I could see like I used to. And then I have to remind myself that at least I got to see well for 60 years. right? You know what I'm saying? Some people never even get to see nothing, not even once, from the time they're born, if they're completely 100% blind. So consider yourself to be, what do you call it? Blessed, right? And use what little time you have left with your eyesights to the best of your ability for all the right reasons and not all the wrong reasons. Because you're not the one that crawled out of that fucking sinkhole that's black with soot, that something, I don't know, is like plaguing the planet after it climbs out of it. Just be grateful you're not one of those things. And never, what is it called? Submit. Don't ever submit to becoming like them. Because you think it's going to buy you a little more extra time for something as a reward for you sacrificing your integrity. Right? Chasing this mouse. Of course it ran away on me, right? Slow down, Nelly.
Which one? He's got lots of teddy bears.
Oh, his back. Here's his little backpack. Here we go. Just in case he needs it for school. Oh, and his leash.
It's like highway robbery.
Yeah. It is. That's what it is.
How am I incompetent here? I'd like to know.
His toothbrush?
Ciera wasn't incompetent either. But they shifted it, right? Obviously. Right? Once they got him out of the house, more accusations were flying around. They based everything they did, they based it on fucking accusations.
Like, what have I done wrong other than stand up and... That's his toothbrush, it's brand new.
This is toothpaste.
I'm sure they have toothpaste.
Yeah.
They're making lots of money off of him, so if they can't afford toothpaste, there's something wrong with those people.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Fucking piece
He's got
of
the...
shit.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
He's got... So you put his little cars in there?
Yeah.
Okay. This one here, I don't know. It might be...
Now you have to remember too, when they kicked out Ciera, Andre was downstairs with his mom in her own bedroom. And like I said, I had just bought her a brand new bed. Clearly you can see that I was buying sleepers because the house gets cold, upstairs, downstairs, whatever. So I was always on the hunt for sleepers, right? And I mean, this was like in January, so wintertime, so why wouldn't I, right? And so when they took Andre, though, no, when they kicked out Ciera on December 10th of 2012, Andre had to come upstairs. So this room that you're looking at was Auntie Shimei's room. So ultimately, these social workers, they displaced Shimei from her room. And then Shimei was asked to go downstairs so that I could, because I was expected to have a single room specifically where only Andre and nobody but Andre was to sleep in. And the only way I could do that was to send Shimei downstairs into Ciera's room now that Ciera was evicted from the house, because Tisha was younger than Shimei and she was in the other room, so I couldn't send down Tisha. I had to take the older daughter, which was Shimei, and put her in Ciera's room. So 15 months from that point forward, this room sat empty while we fought in court, while Shimei was crashing downstairs, little by little, surely by surely, as we all struggled with suicidal feelings for a very long time as we were going to court, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, as Ciera was starting to spiral even further into drug addiction because nothing kicked in when it came to quote-unquote resources. All right? So when they kicked out Ciera, I had to bring Andre up, so I was working on the room. I was converting Shimei's room into Andre's room without really having to take a whole lot of stuff downstairs in terms of her keyboard, piano, and all that. I didn't. It stayed there. The fish tank stayed there. Obviously, there was a bed there, right? The desk was there. If Shimei would never have been evicted from that room, so honestly, people, they evicted Shimei from her bedroom. just as they evicted Ciera from her bedroom, her bed, her family, whatever, out into the streets, right? They evicted Shimei from her bedroom and forced her to go downstairs, okay? And give up what she wanted, what was best for her. Because if she would have stayed in that room, people, she would have graduated, because she was in high school. She went back to high school on her own. And she went and was starting to pull in honors from the moment she got into school. Because she liked learning. So she educated herself on many subjects just by sitting down and making an effort to do so. And that's usually where it has to come from. If it doesn't come from there, it will never come. So by the time she did get into school, right, she was already an honor student. And if she would have stayed in the room that she was, because she was extremely happy and loved that room, and she would have graduated sooner than what she did. And she would have just went to college, people, and done what she wanted to do, and would never have fucking met Julian. But because they threw her into a basement with Joan running around of all things yet, and Ciera busting into her room because Ciera, in her, falling through with the addiction, thinking that, she got no place to sleep and she's just going to sneak into the house and go into her bed that her mom bought her, right? Not caring whether Shimei's in that room or not because, Ciera's now in survival mode. It fucked with Shimei's head. And it made it very difficult for her to focus in school. And it's amazing that she even came out with honors for all the drama and trauma. Right? People can cause so much damage to your family. It's amazing how much other people can cause damage to your family just through their actions of negligence and malfeasance, right? To act out to harm.
Too raunchy for the foster care parents because oftentimes foster parents are religious zealots, and they're very strict.
Now clearly Ciera was able-bodied, sound mind. You can hear it, right? We got back from court, right? So this was just starting with the in terms of the heroin, right? And then don't forget, as the years went by, they started poisoning the drugs, people. They started poisoning the drugs by switching up the ingredients.
And there's been problems within the foster care system.
So this was 2013. So fentanyl wasn't even around. So yeah, heroin, right? Because they got the kids addicted to meth when they were young, 11, 12, 13, 14. Ciera was 13. They did it through the school system with the kids that were in there that were being influenced by their parents or whatever. And then, yeah, we had a lot of tweakers for about six years. Everybody running around doing on meth. It all started as kids. Then they brought in the heroin to mellow people out. So they wouldn't be so tweaky. And after that came in the methadone, which was just another means to capture and manipulate a subgroup within a group of drug addicts. And then along came fentanyl and the mass die-off with the harvesting of bodies, whether legally or in many instances illegally, because that's what props up your corrupt housing market and makes organized religion rich in partnership with public sector union employees. Because it's the underground economy. Throw in a few snuff movies in there, well, you're banging, you're rolling in the dough. Talk about stacking and packing that cash, right? It's disgusting. It's disgusting what people do. It's so disgusting. And yeah, they crawled out of a fucking sinkhole that's blacker than soot with their decrepit bodies and decrepit souls, and they're everywhere. So how you protect yourself from them? I don't know, people, because when you get in these situations, you're subject to them, you know, squeezing. If they want to squeeze the life out of you, they will. Try and worm your way out when somebody's squeezing the shit out of you. It's impossible.
And we don't know who has him, so God forbid if, you know, he gets punished because he's wearing a jacket. So we won't include that one. I mean, these are some of our thoughts because we know the horror stories within the foster system, right? Foster care system. And
we were trying to protect the bikers. You wouldn't want to hurt a little biker baby now, would you? Huh? Yeah. Well, I already think Andre was molested while in foster care in light of what happened to his private parts, which was completely fucking unnecessary. Okay? But of course nobody's going to talk about that because the doctor prescribed it. Yeah, okay, my ass. Okay, I don't know about this cat, man. It was abused. Something is seriously wrong with it. It'll claw the shit out of you if you get too close to it. Paige apparently is going away for a month to Africa, of all places. That's what she says. That's why I got this cat, but I don't know, people. There's something wrong with it. Yeah. Some crazy person a year and a half ago or whatever threw it over a balcony, 2-story floor balcony. It survived that, but clearly something else has happened with this cat because you can't get anywhere near it and it's ready to, like, tear you apart with its claws. So I'm trying to right now befriend it with some canned cat food because when it was a baby, right, I used to give them canned cat food. So I'm hoping this cat will remember me in the next couple of days and calm down a little bit, because if it doesn't calm down, oh, I don't think I can keep it because it's too unpredictable. Yeah. Anyway, okay. We'll see if canned cat food, wet cat food, will help to calm its poor nerves. Yeah.
you know, when you're dealing with religious zealots, which oftentimes many of them are, because that's how they supplement their incomes, is by doing stuff like this. And that's my personal opinion and my experience with, you know, people that have to deal with this stuff. And now that I'm having to deal with this stuff, right? These things I just got for him, and we were going to do all these things, but not now. I guess they're going to teach him. Or maybe daycare, 8 hours a day.
Like a little freaking delinquent.
I didn't want him to be institutionalized at an early age, but...
He didn't need daycare. He had a loving family that looked after him. We were kind of like the Walton family. I guess that was too good to be true, right?
The social worker made
These
sure
are books,
that...
right? He was reading? Nice seasons, right?
Yeah, he likes those ones, so we can include those ones. Those are the ones when you guys were babies.
Yeah. Here's some more of his books too. Like.
We never got any of that stuff back.
Okay, I don't want to start giving... We won't get it back.
Yeah,
okay? They're going to probably try and keep him for as long as they can keep him, if not forever, because that's...
Take one time the hat.
Those two are fine.
And you have to remember too, right? If you don't know, well, you wouldn't remember. But I was advised by a lawyer's office, a lawyer. He couldn't help me, but he gave me the advice to file custody paper application. Because if I didn't do that, whatever the government was up to, he was familiar with in regards to, they're going to take your grandson and put him up for adoption. You only have 18 months to get a handle on it. The first place is file for custody papers. So when I went to court that first day, that's what I did. I filed for custody. And I served Ciera in the courthouse that day, and I served the ministry in the courthouse that day for application to have custody of my grandson. Now you have to remember, well, you wouldn't know if you don't know the story, but before Andre was born, I discussed it over with Ciera, and we agreed that it would probably be in the best interest of everybody to have Andre signed over to me with temporary custody, right, in regards to whatever was going on with his birth situation. But the social workers at that time, they refused to allow it to happen and just left Ciera's file open, gave her, quote unquote, the so-called benefit of the doubt to raise Andre, obviously with me in the background helping her out where she needed help. But they also wanted her to move out of my house and get a basement suite or a small apartment with Austin, who had a history of choking Ciera until she passed out, a history of violence, a history of severe drug addiction, a history with, several interactions with the police over a period of years and years and years and years and years in terms of a police record. And that's what they wanted her to move in with a newborn baby. So that's where the fight between me and the social workers happened, because I was fighting to keep Ciera home with the baby versus them were fighting through their family preservation fucking society to get her situated in a nice little apartment with Austin so they could be the perfect fucking family. No, they wanted her to get into an apartment with Austin so that Austin would fuck Ciera over and derail her from doing what she needed to do so they could go in there and scoop up the baby before he was even 1 year old. Staying with me, she managed to have him for 28 months until finally that social worker said, fuck it, we're tired, he's getting, because there's a certain age that they like to, make them up for adoption. And 2 and 3 year olds are the cutest of the lot. And Andre was cute because he had the blondie, mousy blondie curly hair with light skin.
That's fine. Hopefully we'll get them back. Along with
So yeah, that lawyer told me they're trying to snatch your grandson, put him up for adoption. Get yourself a lawyer. Couldn't get a lawyer though. I was denied access to legal aid because I was lowly nothing but a grandmother. Grandmothers didn't qualify for legal aid. Nope. So I filed the papers myself. And it wasn't long before I wanted to file a lawsuit in terms of against the government in the Supreme Court because of the shenanigans that was going on. Yeah. And because of that, and I wouldn't drop that agenda, borrowed money on my life insurance policy, to which I just looked at my principal and the interest on what I borrowed is racking up. So now I have to pay back on my life insurance. Otherwise, the interest that's being charged on me every year is just eating up my little bit of money that there is on my life insurance policy. Yeah, okay.
my grandson and your son. Oh yes, my daughter's allowed home now because he's not here, right?
Yeah, she was allowed home, but, you know, I had to be very careful. It wasn't like I could say, oh yeah, move back in and get all comfortable, Ciera, now that you're a heroin addict. You know, again, you don't know what you're up against. You don't want to rock no boats. You don't want to give them any more ammunition that they already are using against you, even though it doesn't make sense, right? Outside of the legislation says they can do this, this, and this, and they do it. Where on the other side of that coin, the legislation says they can't do this, they can't, but they do it anyway, and then when you call them on it and try and hold them to account, they ignore it and act like it doesn't exist. It's just words in the wind. Because you're never going to get a judge to acknowledge that social workers are operating with malfeasance to injure and to harm and to destroy a family. Otherwise, they would have dealt with Ciera completely different and none of this shit would have happened. But that wasn't the agenda.
Okay, so this is another jacket that's going. His dad bought him this one. You know, Dad's not always there, but he tries to be sometimes when he tries, right? sometimes it's harder on the dads,
It's hard
right?
to be a dad when you didn't have a dad, right?
Yeah, he didn't have a dad, and he grew up in the foster care system, so he's quite disturbed about all this,
Yes.
right? And he doesn't want his son being done like this as well,
Yeah,
right?
and that's
So
I'm
these
glad
social workers are-
I'm glad we're hearing this, because now that Andre is getting older, you know, every now and then he asks me a question, or I'll be talking and he'll come and, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Or whatever, right? And then I have to explain to him. Like, I'll use this as an example. When Ciera was pregnant with Andre for the first trimester, the first 3 months, 4 months, right? Austin was around, and he manhandled her, people. He was like 6'2", 6'2" or something like that. 6'3". And Ciera was like 4'9". You do the math on that one. Okay? And he'd manhandle her, and choke her, and make her pass out, and, you know, scuffle around with her on the ground, and fight, and just whatever, okay? And Ciera's pregnant. I remember one time I'm hearing her screaming in the back. I had to run out the door, and I had to bat him off her because he was choking the shit out of her. That's when I found out that he was choking her until she'd pass out, right, at random intervals through their ongoing daily arguments. All right. So in vitro, Andre was exposed to a lot of drama and trauma with that cortisol flowing through Ciera's veins at the hands of Austin. And so now that Andre's getting bigger, right, his testosterone, the male hormone, right, is kicking in, and he's already got a BB King voice, very deep, and right, people can't believe that he's only 14, never mind 13, when his voice started sounding like that. And you know, he bumbles through the house, right, in terms of, I can really tell the boy in him, in terms of, you know, he'll go in the fridge and he'll grab something, and then he'll just kind of be rough about it and chuck it off to the side, or put it some, you know, like, you know, he doesn't do things gingerly. He doesn't do things with a lot of care. He doesn't think about being hasty or wasteful, or, you know, he just picks it up and moves it, and right, so, because he's strong now, and he's doing things with ease because his body is making it able for him, and he's like a puppy with big paws, and he doesn't quite know how to walk correctly, right? And, you know, and then of course he plays whatever, he plays like Fortnite and Roblox or something, I don't know, chasing cars, driving cars, I don't know, he's playing different games on a computer with his friends, and then they get all cheeky with each other and blah, and then he gets cheeky with me, and then he gets aggressive, and then he's posturing, and when he gets mad, and if he's really frustrated, like when Uncle Marcaine was throwing out all that shit, and there was all that tension in the house, you know, it would make him depressed and build anger, it would make him angry, and, you know, he wanted to call the police, and he wanted to help, and he couldn't, and, you know, he didn't like what was going on, and then it would snap, right, like that displaced anger, and then he'd get holler and scream at me and start, you know, fuck you, and, you know, I'm like, oh, here we go with, you know, going into teenagehood here, right, and he's gonna be a big boy. So, and knowing what I know in terms of him being in vitro with all the drama that was placed on Ciera, being physically manhandled, right, for several months, until finally she went up into the interior, into a program like a church or something, where she had the rest of her pregnancy was healthy, right? She was planting gardens and was under the sun, and she got big and healthy with the belly, and, you know, no drugs. She was on the methadone, but she was away from Austin, so no arguing. But initially, it's in his DNA, and I have to tell him this, people. I have to tell him, because when I bought that computer, for example, you know, he taking it for granted, And, you know, he doesn't want to get off. And then when he, you know, it's time to get off, he's getting cheeky with me. And then, of course, I'm overworked, triggered. And then I'm like, oh, fuck you. If you think you're going to talk to me like that, I'm taking it away. I went to go start taking, like, the keyboard and the mouse or whatever, something away from him. And he grabbing and hanging onto my wrist. And, no, you can't. No, you can't. And I'm like, well, yes, I can. I'm the one. No. And then he kind of shoved me, right, because he got scared. Because he didn't want to lose it, because I've already taken away his laptop, and he hasn't gotten that back, because I can't dig for it right now. Point is, he knows I'm serious, and so I, you know, after everything was all said and done, and I had to explain to him that he has to learn how to control his emotions, not allow other people to influence him to act out in a way that could potentially get him into trouble. Because if I would have fell and hit my head, you know, then he's up for manslaughter because he killed his nana, because he pushed me because he didn't want me to take the keyboard away from the computer because he was scared. So I talk him through these things, people. And then I remind him that when he was in Ciera's tummy, when, you know, in the first 3 months, growing as a baby, you know, the fighting with her, with the cortisol going through the brain, and, you know, the adrenaline going through her body, trying to escape from Austin, and, you know, and even after he was born, the fighting continued, so he would hear it, and, you know, and babies are sensitive, and then, so it would be natural for him to, and then just being a boy in general, growing up with those male hormones that, you know, make men, right? Well, he has to learn, and I explained to him why maybe, you know, when you get into that primitive mode where you lose all sense of control when you're angry, you have to stop and think, and, you know, obviously don't beat yourself up over it, because it's just part of your DNA. It's natural, and not to mention, it's just natural for men, boys, growing up to be men, to have to learn how to manage their strengths, wherever they come from. And anger obviously brings out strength, right? So now, if I want to take away the computer, because I tell him I'm not trying to provoke him. I'm not trying to take away things from him. I try and communicate and explain myself, and, you know, but he doesn't necessarily take me serious because one of his age and just whatever. I just say, look, don't test me. Don't think I can't bring Uncle Mercane upstairs and he'll take it away. Yeah, it would be that easy peasy. You ain't going to be pushing on Uncle Mercane. No. So, you haven't won, Andre, so let the lesson be learned that you can't just, you know, but he didn't do it with the intent to, he did it through the reaction, you know? He didn't know how other way to react, and it was by impulse, I guess you could say, by impulse, and because he had such a traumatic first trimester in development, and then anything else proceeding after the fact in terms of arguments and whatever, you know, it's in his DNA to, I guess, be impulsive, where this is, as he grows, he has to learn to be able to control it. And not let it control him in terms of his emotions, especially when they're heightened.
Not factoring in nothing, they're new social workers, and I guess they have to take what they learned in school and put it in application in the real world.
No, little child has
this is the real world here, right?
Little baby has to deal.
Okay, members and friends, my daughter is really choked here, and she just wants me to videotape the fridge and say, look, there's food in the house. We already know what's in the freezer, because I did the freezer under the Protect Your Children, right, you know, Thrifty with Food video. But anyway, we know that my grandson wasn't hungry. As a matter of fact, he was eating like 24/7 there for a bit. It was getting kind of concerning for me, but besides the point.
Well, yeah, because, like I said, everybody was eating at different schedules, so, you know, he'd want a little bit of this and a little bit of that from everybody, and everybody gave it to him. And I was running around buying sleepers, trying to keep up with his growth spurts.
We know we have a deep freeze full of food in a room over there and a deep freeze full of food over here.
Downstairs.
We know that he has his own room, so they can't say that I wasn't providing a...
So yeah, you know, Ciera's grasping at straws. She wants Andre home. She did what they told her to do. They told her not to come home. Right? Otherwise they were going to come in specifically with the police and take out Andre if she came home. So she didn't come home, right? She suffered facing homelessness in the middle of winter after being in a loving environment for 28 months after Andre was born with a supportive family and actually had a future, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're standing on a fucking street corner without your medication. Yeah, okay. Waiting for your mom to drop off some food, clothes, and money just so that you have still no place to go? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
You know, a clean room for him and stuff, and you know, making available place. We know he has his own toys, and you know,
covered everything.
So
basic.
you know, Mom came and picked up a few things, but all these things are staying here because I'm going to continue doing my memorial. Apparently, it's something to do with me that they removed him from my care.
Yeah, and that's how they victimize you twice, and again and again and again. They come with their ambiguous accusations, right? What? I didn't want him in daycare. I talked to a lawyer, and the lawyer told me to fill out an application for custody. Because I mentioned that to the social worker before they actually took him or something. I said, I'm speaking to a lawyer, right? And, you know, he's saying that I should get a lawyer and put soon enough. Well, they were going to take him from the daycare anyway. If they could have gotten, that was the whole purpose of the daycare. If they could have gotten Ciera to move in with Austin into a basement suite or a one-bedroom apartment or something like that, I swear they would have taken Andre before he was 3 months old. Yeah. At least with me, she got 28 months, people. But once they fucking destroyed her, I couldn't save her. I couldn't save her. And sometimes I don't want to say I beat myself up over it because, you know, right? You know, because I did lots for Ciera. And the kids, they did lots for her too. I don't know. It's just, it was too difficult. Nothing worked. And what would have worked, I would have lost Andre in order to make it work. Right? So, and now I got this crazy cat in my bathroom, and I'm like, well, fuck. I don't know if I can reach this cat. Because if I can't reach this cat where it's going to calm down in the next, I don't know. Paige says she's leaving on the 10th or something. And if that's the case, you know, if this cat can't calm down in the next few days, I don't know, she's got no place to take it. But it's like seriously something wrong with it. And I don't know if you can fix a cat. You know, it would require a lot of patience. And I got other cats in the house, and my other cat is already sitting by the door trying to get into the freaking bathroom. Go figure. Knowing that there's a vicious cat in there. So, there's the cat fight, you know, as if. And you know cats, if they start fighting and you get too close to two cats that are fighting, they're like dogs. It won't be long before both cats turn on you and you're being attacked by two cats now instead of one, where one cat would never have attacked you, and the only reason it's attacking you is because the crazy one got it involved with attacking it first, and then they just went off on those emotions like Andre. You know, they get into their primal emotions. You can reason with a human, but I don't know if you can reason with a psychologically damaged cat. So.
They have issues because they don't like me standing up and saying, no, I don't want him in full-time daycare. I want my daughter home after she does her recovery.
You don't bow down to a 26-year-old.
I don't.
Yeah, well, you see, and that's another thing. They switched it on to recovery. Because by that time, when they kicked her out, she wasn't a junkie. She was on methadone daily. Right? Never missed a dose. That's why she was doing so good. And she was on right low, you know, she wasn't on high dosage, she was on a low dosage. She was proud of herself. And that's not why they kicked her out. They kicked her out for not coming home. But as soon as we got to court, it was suggested that she had been doing drugs, and I guess they asked her, and she admitted to doing something a month or 2 or 3 in the past, in terms of she did something for a day in the summertime, one time, maybe something in October, I don't know. But it was just like that. It was like, it wasn't what you would normally expect. Right? And because she admitted it, well, that's where they flipped it and tried to say that she was doing, when in fact she was not. Not until they kicked her out, and then she couldn't get her methadone anymore. And within 10 days, they wanted to keep her addicted to heroin. And that's why they injected her. Because they knew that once they got her injected with heroin, she'd be addicted to it for life, with the needle, for the most part. Very few get away from it. And especially if you bring in the fentanyl, to which that's what they did. Apparently, people who use fentanyl, only 6% can ever truly break away from it. What does that tell you? And those are statistics based from what I hear from the States and everything, where 100,000 people or more now are dying from fentanyl-related murder. Poisoning. You'd have to crawl out a pretty deep, damn, dark hole full of soot to condone that activity for profit.
Right?
Power trip.
Power trip and 26-year-old that has
Doesn't even have a kid.
That doesn't have a kid, that has to take what she learned in school.
Yeah, the girl was 26 years old, just got out of college, was assigned a temporary position because the main social worker went off to go have chemotherapy and do whatever. And this one decided that Andre was easy pickings and she'd get her brownie points with the ministry so that perhaps she could get a bonus at the end of the year.
School and apply it to this family so that she can get some experience. Anyway, peace out. Okay, so now we're dropping his stuff off at social services. You know, this is how they treat children that had a room.
Do you know this is like taking that knife and just jabbing it in deeper wherever it is that's in your body, and you got more than one puncture wound? Yeah. It was so hard for me to go through these motions and watch my daughter and then not be able to keep her at home and protect her, because I was afraid that if I had her home for any length of time where social workers got wind that she was in the home, my case in court would go out the window because they would use it against me. That's psychological warfare. That's that loosh harvesting, right? And I'm getting extremely upset. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just break for a second, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to finish this little video, and then I'm going to upload this video as is because it's long enough as it is. But I think what's important here is that to not forget and assume without knowing the history in regards to what has happened to my family and why things are the way they are today, because it's a progression of situations that are conspired, premeditated, to unfold over a period of time as if nobody can notice what the heck is going on. So it's like a deconstruction of a whole family, one block at a time. Kind of like what's going on with our communities out here when it comes down to tearing down all the houses, one house after another house after another house, from block to block to block, and then move into the apartment buildings and start tearing them down from block to block to block, from district to district, and then spread out across the country because it's good business to destroy lives, and then take body parts and put them into robotoids so that they can replace the human problem. And call that scientific advancement. Okay. Yeah. Hold on a minute. Okay. And then I have to contend with, in the here and now of December 2nd of 2024, at the time of this recording, that I have to just get used to the idea that I am to own nothing and become homeless. Yeah. And just accept it as good business. And that to ignore the fact that Canada as a country is at war with its citizens. Okay? And then go blind, with my life being cut short because I won't be able to see the way I should see.
A loving family, you know, we're not perfect, right?
Yeah, so now I had to take her to the office to drop off all that stuff at the Ministry of Children and Family Development Welfare Office to that social worker who kicked out Ciera for not coming home and turned her into a junkie. Turned Ciera into a junkie, that is, within 10 days from that initial act.
But Mom is going to take one truck anyway.
Do you know how hard it is to stay strong in a situation like that and not bend to your emotions of rage, fear, mourning? You literally go into mourning as if the person died.
Yeah, he's going. I told him I'm leaving his dirty clothes out washing for us.
Yeah, we got his bag of dirty clothes here, so they're going to get washed so that, you know, we don't get complaints that, you know, we dropped off dirty clothes, right?
Who, why, and how Ciera died. Clearly this falls under her playlist. All for not coming home in a timely manner. Maybe because Joan Duncan was downstairs popping her fucking pills that were prescribed by a doctor, driving Ciera nuts, and Ciera needed a break from her. And she knew she could trust her sisters, her mother, her uncle, and Grandpa John to keep an eye on Andre so that she could not lose it. But clearly the social worker wanted her to lose it, and she made it so Ciera lost it. And I could never recover it. I could never make it heal, which makes me think about this cat that's in my bathroom right now that's clearly something wrong with it. And I don't know if I want to spend $500 to go get it fixed, because it's not fixed after 3 years, God forbid. Even if it got outside, you'd never see it again. It would go crawl off into the bush and die because it's so petrified of humans. You can't even get close to it. And, you know, if I took it to a vet, assuming that I could even get it into the freaking cat bag without it clawing my eyes out, or anybody's eyes out for that matter, you know, the vet's going to have a hell of a hard time. He's going to have to shoot it with a freaking blow dart just to put it to sleep, because it's not like you can handle the bloody thing. That's how damaged this cat is. As a matter of fact, after this video, I'll go into my bathroom and I'll show you this cat, and you can hear the right. And I'm like, holy crumb, right? And I know if I call up Paige and say, come get this freaking cat, you know, she's got nowhere else to take this cat, people, right? And I'm like, well, maybe, you know, I don't know how long it's going to take for it to maybe calm down, maybe. And even then, it's going to be extremely skittish, you know? I'm wondering if maybe it's got some kind of pain or something and it's hurting, right? But you won't know that till you take it to a freaking vet. As if I could even get into a fucking cat bag without being scratched apart by it. And God knows, like, I feel like it's going to jump me. Yeah. But, you know, like, some things you can't rescue. And, like, for years we tried to rescue Ciera in so many different ways. And we didn't get the family. We didn't get the proper support to give Ciera the support that she needed. And any support that we felt that she needed, that we wanted to give her the way we wanted to give it to her, we weren't allowed. And that's where Andre became the tool for those workers, for the government, to use against the family to keep us wedged apart. As the landlords in these situations, no names mentioned here, but as the landlords are needling in the tenants' ears with the intimidation of threat to bring in the bin because they're not paying enough money, or they're not going to fix things because they don't pay enough money, or whatever the excuse is from the property developers coming, so why should we fix it? They're tearing down the house anyway. You could only say that for so many fucking decades before that lie comes to the surface and you realize that it was nothing but a fucking lie and just an excuse not to fix things. Right? As they threaten to kick you out, the brighter and smarter that you become to their game. You know, they don't want to get caught at it. They don't want to be held to account for it. They don't want to cut back on their overinflated rent gouging, you know, because you're not dealing with ethical people. You're dealing with something that crawled out of a fucking dark sinkhole that's full of soot. So I don't know what this cat's been through. I don't know what kind of drama. All I know is it's been freaking tortured. It's way too stressed out for it to not have been abused somewhere along the line. Yeah, okay, throwing a cat over a balcony 2 years ago, I could see it being traumatizing for a moment, right? As long as the cat survived, that's why they got 9 lives. Chances are if the cat was being treated properly within the last 2 years, it wouldn't be acting the way it's acting, but clearly there's something wrong with this cat. And, you know, I'm like, okay, well, you can give it a week, maybe. Like, I only have so many choices here. I am going to phone up Tisha and have her phone up Paige and say, look, I don't think it's a good idea to have this cat around, but I can hear it already. I have no place for it to go. Oh, please, Mama Lynn, look after the cat. I'll be only gone for a month, and I promise I'll come pick it up. As if you want the stupid thing, because if you wanted the stupid thing, it wouldn't be acting the way it's fucking acting. Clearly, you've done something wrong. Personally, I don't think you should get the damn cat back. And I hope to hell for your future kids' sake that you don't have any, because if you can't look after a cat, you certainly can't look after fucking kids. And maybe that's why Paige never wanted to look after her sister's kids when they went into foster care, because she wanted to live her life and be free. Well, yeah, now we know why. So I'm kind of choked. I feel bad for this cat, right? And I'm like, okay, well, if you take it to the SPCA, they won't take it because they refuse cats. They'll tell you to go adopt it out. You deal with it. Right? So I'm like, well, maybe I could call up a cat rescue. But they don't want adult cats because they got too many already. Right? So it'd be extremely difficult for me to find an animal rescue to come pick up this cat that maybe has more experience with these types of cats, because that's the thing. I don't have experience with these types of cats other than my motherly instinct. Like I'm mothering it right now. I'm talking quiet to it. You know, I've changed its name. I don't call it Tuna. I call it Luna. So I'm going to call it Luna. Right? And I'm going to try and connect with it on that primal level where it feels safe. right, with the nurturing of something warm in terms of another entity that, like, I'm warm. I'm a warm human being, right? Clearly it hates human beings. It doesn't want to be, you can't even get near this cat. And, I mean, like, right? Or maybe I'll be stuck with it. I don't know. I don't know how long it takes for a cat to calm down. If it even can. If it even can. Right? And it hasn't even been exposed to my other cats. It probably can smell the other cats. And we've already had one of my black cats sit by the bathroom door. As soon as I started to open up that door, that cat wanted to get in there. Now, why it wanted to get in there, God forbid, I don't know. Because if the two cats start fucking fighting, you better freaking run. I'm serious. They're worse than dogs. They'll turn on you. And it won't be long before you're being attacked by two freaking cats. Yeah. That's just some crazy shit. So anyway.
There's your protective services. Who watches over them?
Well, clearly not the government of British Columbia, Canada, and nor does the federal government watch over them. No.
Who oversees them? Who makes sure that these people...
Yeah, but they don't even follow their own legislation, people. You see, that's the thing. It's just a charade. And that's why I'm bringing this back up to the surface. Not only am I putting it in the playlist, and I'm, touching up on the history so that if somebody new's coming to the channel, they don't know what the hell's going on. This might help for them to start connecting the dots in terms of how families are targeted, right? And the various methods that are deployed upon them by those that do the targeting, the predator class, right? And the result of it. This is, right, who and how and why Ciera died. If they would never have done what they've done, people, she'd be alive today. Okay? I'm not saying she would have been perfect, but she wouldn't have went down the path that she was put on. She was put on it, and then she was forced to stay there. And the best that I could do was mitigate the damage as it was accumulating and try and instill a little bit of hope into my children that we could restore something in terms of what was destroyed, in terms of repair it, right? And get Andre back. Because at that time, Andre was the tool to manipulate the whole family and to turn Ciera into a guaranteed drug addict that they could pimp out on the street for 8 fucking years with their morbid crap, being that they crawled out of a fucking hole that was deep and dark and full of soot. Everything that those kind of individuals like. Until finally they had no use for her because they destroyed her brain so bad with their nasty, stinking, rotten drugs that they finally went in for the kill. And that's exactly what happened. Lured her to her death, put her in a snuff movie, made X amount of, who knows, millions of dollars on that, and then harvested her organs, mocked her family, right? Accused her family of this, accused her family of that, right? Victimized them once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and then told them to fuck off. That Ciera did it to herself. She deserved it. Yeah, okay.
Or are not overextending themselves with their sense of power.
Why should my little grandchildren, Alea May, Kyrie, if Amari could understand, we'll include him, and Andre, or if Uncle Marcaine has a child, why should they be ashamed of their family history? Because for the ones that hurt you, that's what they want. For everybody to be ashamed. To hang their head in shame. To put their tail between their legs and go run into a corner and cower and die. and disappear so that nobody has to investigate what's really going on here and who the real criminals are, right? They don't. They don't, people. They just have to be aware. That's the point of these videos. It's not to shame my family. My family didn't do anything wrong. We were doing everything right. It was the government workers that were on a mission in partnership with organized crime to one degree or another, as well as organized religion, because it all boils down to one big cesspool of greed.
Christy Clark, Diane Watts, Gordon Campbell, who now works for the Queen of British Columbia, and all of Canada, sitting up in England with his $500,000 a year paycheck. Who protects us from them? From these workers behind these cloudy windows? Shady shit, right? Where's the people's protection? It's definitely not in that office.
Okay, so I came into the bathroom. Now you can see better than me, so just give me a chance to find this cat. Where are you, Luna? You got a new name. I can see you through the crack, right in there. Do you see this cat? There she is. Luna! You have a new name. Well, I don't know if this is a milestone or if we made a headway, because she's not growling. If you notice that, she's just looking at me. Hey, Luna? Are you just looking? Why are you not growling? You're letting me come a little closer to you? And like, this animal doesn't move. It doesn't blink its eyes, nothing. Look how still it is. But if I was to go like this, I'm afraid. I'm surprised she's not meowing or growling. Why you being nice to me? Where are you? Here you are. You being nice to me? Huh? You're not growling at me. Where are you? It's hard for me to record. What I'm afraid of, she's right there on the windowsill. What I'm afraid of is she's going to spring at me if I get too close, like a serious man. But you're not growling. So, I don't know. I don't think she ate the food. Huh? There's food here. Nice food, look. Yummy, yummy. Look at that. Don't you remember me? You were just a little kitten. I used to give this to you when you were a little kitten with all your little brothers and sisters. And she'd wait her turn. She was such a good little kitty. What happened? What have you been doing for the last 3 years? Clearly getting stressed out. Huh? What happens if I put the bowl a little closer to you? Are you going to swat at me? I'm just afraid that she'll run out and jump on me and just start chewing the shit out of me and digging her claws into me. I know. I'm trying to go slow with you. I don't know what to do. You know, because I know that Paige has no place to take this cat. Right? Cat rescue, I know what they're going to say. We have already too many adult cats. If I beg and plead, maybe I might get lucky. But maybe we should give you a little bit of a chance, because you're not growling at me. Huh? Look, look, the eyes she looks pained. You look like you're in emotional pain. Is there something going on with your eye? That eye doesn't even look normal. There we go. There, do you hear? There, she's growling now. You're growling now. I know. Luna. Luna! That's your new name. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do you see? Okay, well, you know what? You let me be here for what? 3 minutes? 4 minutes? Before you started your nonsense. See, I'm afraid the cat will just bounce at you. if you get too close. So, what can we do about this food? What would happen if I put this food... Hold on. I'm not a cat rescue. Shut up. Look at it. It's ready to bounce at me. Do you see? It's... Look. Food. Food. You don't even know it's there. Not eating. Here. I just put it right there. Okay. Do you see? That's where I put it. That's where that cat is. I didn't even hardly get even close to that cat. And you can't tell me that cat doesn't look like it wants to bounce out. Just go a little closer, see what it does. So, clearly this cat has been extremely traumatized. Look! Luna! There's some food. I'll just leave it there. Right, I'm hoping to win it over with some food. It's not eating dry food. Clearly not. Here, we'll put the water up there too. Here, we'll put the water up there. Okay? And then we got the litter box. I don't know. Okay, I'm going back out now, Luna. Okay, so now it's November 30th of 2024. I think I did a little something regarding potato peels, okay? When you're peeling potatoes in bulk, they start to add up in weight. They really, really do, right? I blanched these for a few minutes. Honestly, people, I am still so stressed out. So stressed out with what's going on in the world with these crooked landlords stalking their tenants, harassing them, making them feel insecure, threatening them, kicking them out onto the streets for profit. Okay? I'm just saying, right? You know, it's everywhere. Because I guess it boils down to that depopulation agenda, where only the strong will survive. And the only way you can be strong is to hurt other people and to have lots of money, so that, you know, you hurt other people so that you can have lots of money. I'm just saying. So, with that, it makes it really hard for me to do anything positive when it comes to a video. Alright. But this, what I'm doing here, is positive. It's important for some people. I don't profess it to be important for everybody, because some people just have a lot of money and don't need to do stuff like this in order to have, I guess you could say, extra food in the house. Or how about maybe better quality food? Or I suppose it really depends on what you eat, right? So, okay. I don't want that to fall. I have to put it back into the dehydrator, but I gotta do these. I have to flip these over, right? And I'm like, you don't even really feel like doing it. It's very easy. This is why I like the plastic versus the silicone. I don't like using silicone for this. I like using the plastic for the potatoes. And my neighbor, because she's being told that she's being evicted from her house after living there for 22 years, paying down the mortgage multiple times, and keeping up the yard, and it's immaculate, so that the property value on the outside can increase. Even though septic tanks from 100 years ago are coming up through the ground as the trees are falling and they're rooting out, and because of all this digging in the neighborhood, right, with these... Alright, so anyway, she's going to be giving me, I guess, something more from her freezer, cheese and stuff like that, sour cream. I said, that's fine, I'll take it, right, because, you know, I'll just dehydrate it. She says, oh, I know you would. So yeah, you know, I'm like, she's having to give away her stuff just to start preparing for to be 74 years old, people. Like, come on. You know, I was thinking with my eyes, I'm 62 right now. My grandfather died when he was 77. I don't think I'm going to be able to see jack shit at anything when I'm 77. And that's assuming that I'm even alive at 77. Yeah, so I'm trying to imagine what it would be like being my grandfather's age at 77 years old, blind as a bat. I could only imagine. At least my grandfather could see. I don't know. I don't think I'll make it that long. I don't think I'll make it for the next 15 years. Hell no. So sometimes they break up and they're a little hard to flip. But you have to flip them over at least halfway through the process, because otherwise they just stay gummy underneath and it takes too long. But if you flip them, they dry much faster. I put these in last night. It's not really that hard to do mashed potatoes. It's really not. No. And potatoes have gone up in price because I've been doing this for a while, right? So I would know. Definitely. I bought a russet potato that's coming in today because I got for I guess Black Friday, you know, those sales that they have, right? A little, what is it called? Air fryer. I was reluctant to buy because I have a convection oven, and I have something like that up high in the playroom there. I don't know. I got something there. Anyway, I'm looking, and I want one with no Teflon, and you know, and then all of a sudden Walmart had one for $40. It was cream coated or whatever, and $40. I thought, what the heck, we'll try it, right? See if we like it. I don't know. So that's why I bought another bag of russet potatoes, 20 pounds at $10. Where just a few months ago, it would have been $7. As I know, I've been buying, right? Yeah. And they're selling the red potatoes, which I'm working on right now, not on sale, for $11. And when I did buy the two 20-pound bags, they were $8. And if you throw away, I don't know how many pounds in peels, you kind of just throwing away money. So I am experimenting with now, with, you know, I mean, the potato has to be in fairly good shape, right? With the potato peels, for those gravy mixes, and for flavoring, and also starch. And when you work with potatoes like this, you know, I don't know if there's a lot of weight in skin, but it seems to be denser. It just seems to be denser, so I don't know. I mean, obviously it has a bit of a different taste, right? But yeah, it's really hard to do positive videos, right? Especially when people don't appreciate shit like this. But yet they're quick to complain about how high the cost of food is. Unless, of course, they're gloating, and they don't have to worry about that because, you know, they've got lots and lots of money, and they'll never have to worry. Like Elon Musk, he eats a steak and egg every day. Well, not everybody can afford steak and eggs every day, especially the steak, right? So, without batting an eye, that is. I mean, it's one thing to give that advice, but it's another thing for people to be able to follow it. Where what I'm showing, you know, it's just time consuming. That's all it is. You know, it's a routine of just, once you put your mind to it, you have to just kind of do it, right? It's a lot of prep work. Like this, what I'm doing right now, getting gooey, right? Because, you know. But after it's all said and done, wait till we start cooking with this more. I'll tell you, it's going to be great. I'm looking really forward to it. I'm working on my plan with my dishes, you know, right? Like I bought I'm telling you, for the ones that are struggling with food, you might want to consider doing it this way every now and then to save the cost of spoilage on vegetables as they're coming in. Because, you know, we all have good intentions. Oh, I'll buy this, I'll buy that. You know, I'll make sure I'll use it up within this amount of time. And then shit happens. You get busy. right? And then you go back into the fridge a little while later, and what do you find? Right? Maybe something that's spoiled, you know, or is on the verge, like spinach is on the verge of spoiling, and it's just too much effort to pick through it, right? It's just easier just to chuck it. Especially if you can't see. So when it comes in fresh, I either cook it up that day in the numbers of the amounts that I bought, right? And put it in the fridge in the bowls with the lids on. And it lasts for almost up to a week, right? Unless you eat it up real fast. And so I got six spinach coming. I chop it up, put a little oil in the pot, some garlic. I fry it up with the garlic. Oh God, this the histamines. They spray food with shit. I don't know. Oh my God, I'm getting real itchy throat. Hold on. This bathroom is one of the warmest rooms in the house. And then, as that stuff is dehydrating, sometimes, like I said, it gets like a sour cream smell. But besides that point. Okay, so those are those pork rib bones, right? You can see that. I've already dehydrated them, broke them up. Now I'm going to grind them up. I'll probably use it for plant food because, you know, as I get more organized and that kind of crap, I'd like to be able to, you know, grow a few things in that little grow room or whatever. I don't know yet. We'll see. Okay, so I guess we're going to call this video Working with Potato Skins. Yeah, because that's what I'm basically doing. Can you see that? Now this is red potato. And I used a potato peeler, right? And I find that different potatoes... different potatoes blend up differently. Or at least these ones, they didn't give off a lot of powder. And I made it softer than when I first started out, because the softer you can get it, I think it comes out better when you cook it up. Well, I just grounded it all up, so I have to cool it, right? Before I put it in the jar. So these, you can fry these up and eat them, which I do sometimes. But if you put a little seasoning salt on them, they'd be like a little mini chip. Yeah, they're crunchy. Just saying. You can hear it. Your seasoning on there? Drizzle a little, just a light little drizzle of oil, or not oil, but butter or something like that. Just toss it real fast with a little bit of seasoning. And you're going to eat it like that. Because these were blanched, right? The reason I blanched them was to kill off any quote-unquote root bacteria. A vegetable root. Carrots, parsnips, I suppose turnips, beets, whatever. Anything that's in the ground, right? Because, you know. So if you blanch them, you kill off those pathogens. Boom. Gone. Right? That's all it takes. And then you take away the water, and there's nothing for it to live on. If it's there. Right? And we all know we don't eat dirt, so, you know, you kind of want to make sure there's really no dirt on the potato peels or the carrot peels or the whatever peel you're working with, right? So that you can feel confident that what's in the jar is, I guess you could say, clean. So far, we got the Mod Podge from what was in the oven, in terms of peels and whatever celery and onion and whatever I put in there. And then we've got the blanched parsnips peels and the blanched carrot peels all mixed up together. And so far it actually doesn't taste too bad. Just needs a bit of salt and maybe something else, like a leaf of some kind, right? Like a little bit of, I could see why people would want to put a little bit of thyme in that. It was just a little bit, very little. Or you could even add in a bit of rosemary. Just a tad. I don't know what this is going to taste like. I ended up buying some more asparagus, so I'm going to dehydrate the asparagus, and then the ends, cut off about that much, right? Blanch them, cook them a little longer, just a little longer, and then when I go to dehydrate and grind up those ones will go into the Mod Podge after it's been sifted through the strainer, as well as the carrot peels. And then I'm back to potatoes, but I still want some more parsnip. So I've been doing this for a while anyway. And then I'm not sure how I'm going to combine the potato peels with what. I don't want to add it into this, because this, as it is not so bad. I would suspect the potato peels, with enough of them powdered up, would probably, I don't want to say overpower the powder, because it wouldn't have a strong bite, but it would be kind of like musky, right? Because potato peels are more dense than obviously the flesh, right? So they give off two different types of flavors. Right? Where the main nutrients are, well, probably in the skin, where the potato itself is more like the starch, I guess, right? Yeah, so anyway, hold on. Okay, so I don't know if I ever mentioned this. Andre, I'm talking. I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but I'm like actually working with two children when it comes to Amari's cookbook, I guess you could say. Right? Where one suffers from constipation, and the other, who is my grandson Kyrie, who's 3, has chronic diarrhea. Tisha says she can't ever remember a time where he's had a normal stool. So, needless to say, I got Tisha looking in the stores for, and he's allergic to milk yet. So I said, okay, well, you're going to make coconut ice cream. Go to the store and look for coconut cream, quote unquote, with the highest fat content in it. Right? And we're going to start with that. And we're going to turn him into a little carnivore. Yeah. He likes to eat meat. But it has to be certain kinds of meat. Yeah. And I'm explaining to her how she should serve it to him in terms of ground up, not ground hamburger, but ground steak. Right? Ground turkey. Preferably herself grinding it. So buy a chunk of meat, in other words. So I'm giving her a old school crank meat grinder. Yeah. And I told her to, he likes Mari's prune juice, eh? Oh man, he really does. And so I told her to get that, and he can have a quarter cup a day, right? Because one, it's really, really high in nutrients. It has a good calorie count, and it will help to soothe his stomach, especially if he's eating more meat versus, I told her she needed to back off from the breads for a while. Anything bread, the fish crackers, doesn't matter. Any kind of wheat product to figure out if he's allergic to wheat, right? Right? And then, so just don't give him any, and then just, you know, give him the basics of something, and then we're building on a menu for him now. That's what I'm trying to say, right? And I'm telling her as I'm working with food, trying to figure things out for Amari, right? So anyway, this is the first stage of the, I don't want it to fall. My perception of distance is not correct anymore. So anyway, you can see that, right? That's in the big blender first. I had to keep pushing it down, right? And then to make it, I think the secret to this stuff, honestly, I do, is to grind it up as fine as you can and then run it through a sieve. So first stage, I find this makes it into a better powder, and it really doesn't take very long. And then I'm going to sift it in a very fine little strainer. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And then what's left over in terms of crumbs, we'll go back in there and blend it up again. And yeah. So yeah, I'm actually working with two different type of dietary needs, I guess you could say. Yeah. So I think for him to eat more meat, because he's strong and he's growing, and right. And then if she gives him easy to digest other foods like asparagus, like Amari asparagus, right? Because you got to give, something's going on with the gut flora in there. It needs to calm down, right? So anyway, one day at a time. We're working on it. So hold on a minute. So I guess you have a choice of sizes, right? Last time I did this, I used that size. I think these ones are a little bigger than this one, but then I can't really tell, right? So I did run it through. It's pretty soft. Like, it doesn't, you don't have to, like, you're not looking for baby powder here, right? I'm just saying. So, and then just put it in there, and oh yeah, that's just going through like a charm. Oh my God, so nice. So nice. Right? Could probably grind it up just even a little more. I'm gonna do that. I think so. Oh yeah. This is the stuff. This is the stuff. This is the stuff right here. That is sprinkled on food. And put into stuff like this. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so if you're going to do stuff like this, which I would highly recommend, not only for the nutritional value around it in terms of, you know, they always say there's more nutrients in the skin than there is on the inside of whatever it is that you're eating, depending on, like, I suppose the vegetable, more like the fruit. And I mean, nobody likes to quote unquote eat orange peels, but, you know, they don't mind eating a raw carrot that hasn't been peeled. So that's what I'm trying to say. So with that said, plus, who wants to be throwing out, you know, $6 worth of carrots if you're doing bulk and peeling. By the time you're done peeling, it's a whole 5 pounds of peels that you're throwing out into the compost. So why not repurpose, okay? So anyway, that's what we're doing here, and no regrets. I don't know. It's like, what did I say? Andre, shush up. I've been listening to kids for 24 hours. My little grandkids were over. So anyway, I ran it through that sieve, you can see, right? It went through pretty good. I had to blend it a few times. I highly recommend that you get whatever that is. Right? I use it for Amari's food and whatever, like what I'm doing now, right? But mostly for Amari's food, right? And it did a really good job. If you look, you can see. And it's very fine. So, now, in terms of the predominant, oh, what did I say? I said it was something, right? It's like a predominant mellow. It has a mellowing effect, but it's predominant. In other words, if you have too much of this, I think, in with carrot peels, like it really depends on what you want to use it for. And if you're using it for gravy mixes, I mean, we all know that potato is like a starch, right? It's going to be more like a thickener than anything else. Although, you know, it has that, I don't know, it's heaty, it's mellowy, right? It's not sharp like a parsnip, but it's distinct. You can distinguish it. You can taste that it comes from a quote-unquote potato, but it doesn't taste like a potato because you're not consuming the flesh. This is the skin. So if you wanted it to be just a little more potato-y taste, all you do is take some of that ground up potato. Do you see? Right? And it's still warm. Bring it to a fine-tuned powder in one of these after you get it in this state with the bigger blender. Go through the sifter, right? And then add in your ratio. You'd experiment with your ratio. So if you have 1 cup of potato skins powdered up in the state that you want it, and you add a 1/4 cup of this up to, I suppose, even a half if you wanted to, depending on what type of gravy mix you're trying to make here. I'm just saying. Right? This here has a completely different taste. It has a stronger potato taste because of the flesh, although there is milk in here as well. But I don't think with or without milk, I think you're still going to get the same. So if you wanted your potatoes, what I'm saying is, if you wanted your potato skins to taste more like potato, because you want that and you want the starch, versus using maybe cornstarch, I'm just saying, right? To make your he was helping with the kid. He's gonna, oh, it drives me nuts, people. Anyway, because he's got such a deep voice and it just booms, right? And I get overworked and tired. So, okay, so what was I saying? If you wanted more of a flavorful potato starch that was natural, you could use the potato skins. 1 cup of potato skins powdered up to 1/4 cup. Start with 1/4 cup powdered up potato with or without water after you mashing, right? A little bit of milk in a 1/4 cup of this isn't going to affect that. Let's just put it that way. And because I like a little bit of milk when I'm mashing them and blending them up. I tried it with just the potato water with the starch. I just found that they blend up better with a little bit of milk, right? And they taste pretty good, actually. And they're fully cooked. So you can eat this. Just you could take this and sprinkle it on your popcorn, for crying out loud. I'm just saying. And it even got a little crunch to it. It's pretty good. So you could put a 1/4 cup in with that. And then that would be a base to build on a potato gravy that you can either enhance with something else. Like I bought these little cans from Walmart at 77 cents a can, where it's either turkey gravy, beef gravy. This time it was just those two. Sometimes they have chicken gravy, because for me to open up a small can and then use my little glass things with the lids on them for amari, a scoop here and a scoop there, it's great. But, you know, Andre and I, we're missing out, so I'm going to be getting into the bigger batch of gravies, pre-made, where, you know, I could even open up, I could mix this up with water, basically a little salt and pepper as a base for gravy, one bouillon cube, maybe two, right? Or I can mix the bouillon cubes right into the mix itself. And then when you're putting it all together, you can take one of those cans. They're just little cans, right? And pour it in there, mix it up, and you got gravy for a few days. It'd be great. Yeah, from scraps, basically. Yeah. Because by the time you're done, like this here, I don't know how many pounds of peels it was, but it was a big mound of potato peels, right? And you squish them all together. It probably was the equivalent of, well, anywhere from 2 to 4, depending on the size of potatoes. At least a pound, maybe 2 pounds, in terms of the weight, maybe. I'd have to. I was so tempted to weigh it just to see, right? I'm like, well, how many pounds of potatoes am I throwing out by throwing them out versus doing it this way? And this way, so far, it's turning out to be interesting, to say the least. And I definitely feel frugal, right? And I'm confident that whatever I'm doing here is going to work. Like, I'm really confident about it. Yeah. Because with that taste of the potato, as that mellowing, heady, familiar taste that we all know who eat potatoes. We know what it tastes like, right? I mean, like, you don't even have to make a turkey gravy or a beef gravy or a chicken gravy. You could make a tomato potato gravy. Mm-hmm. All it would require, after the fact, is a little bit of potato powder. Tomato powder with a few little spices in there. Leaf spice of some kind. I'm thinking like maybe basil is sweeter than oregano, right? And a hint of fennel, just a very small hint maybe. That would be nice. You could do multiple things with this. So how much did we get out of, well, I don't know how many pounds. I was so tempted. I wanted to, because I didn't want to be talking numbers in the wind, right? I wanted to say, you know, I was almost ready to throw out 3 pounds of potatoes with these potato peels, but I decided I was going to do this instead, and
I think Marquine called me.
I don't know. I didn't hear him.
It sounded like he called me.
All right, for what it's worth, after you do all this,
Did he call me or did he not call me?
well, you might want to call him and ask him down the vent. Or at least on the phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him because I don't know.
It's 8:30. He's probably getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah, well, it sounded like he called.
Well, I'm talking. I'm recording right now. Right? So we're going to see how much it will fill up. This is the other one. This is what I made
Marquine?
with the parsnips and carrots.
Did you call? Yeah. Somewhat. It's somewhat. A bowl? Okay. Bye. Okay. Bye. Yeah, he called.
Did he say he had lots of it?
Yeah.
Well, then bring me up some for Amari. And me. Okay, so after you're done doing it, though, you can't wonder, why are you doing this? That doesn't seem like much powder there. So, right? But you do it enough times, though. I still got 50 pounds to go, right? I have to take a detour because the asparagus were on sale. So I bought another $32 worth. Yeah. I saved myself. I guess I got one free by doing what maybe almost one free. Yeah. One free is one free, right? Yeah, I think this is going to work out really good. It's a little time consuming. Right? Fukushima radiation! And there's Shimei at the ocean as I'm banging on my bowls talking about the BP oil spill and a solution with the cuppet, if you've been watching my videos. Right, Amari? Yeah, the good old days with the ooh la la, crazy crap. But no, that's 2011. I went to the beach with the kids and I started banging on the pots as I was going ooh la la. And Shemai's going shh, shh. It was like you're at the freaking ocean with the waves flapping at your feet, right? And you're telling me there's nobody around. Okay, Shemai. So there you go. I don't know how many pounds it was. I wanted to weigh it just to see how much I wasn't throwing out. In terms of you buy 20 pounds of potatoes, but you end up throwing out 5 pounds after you're done peeling them all. Does that make sense? Doesn't make sense to me. Now, that's almost a bag of potatoes. I have a little bit more left over, and so by the time I do another batch, which will be after I do the asparagus and the carrots or whatever, right? That's going to fill up that jar. So in a bag of 20 pounds of potatoes, I should get almost 250 mils of fine powder that I can use either as is, or if I want more of a potato quote-unquote starch as an additive to my gravy mixes, then I would just simply add a bit of mashed potato. With or without milk, doesn't matter to me. Yeah. And I think it would rehydrate really well. I do. And it would be a great thickener. But it's heaty. It has its own unique marker when it comes to the predominant taste, although it's not sharp as it would be mellow or heaty, just by the very nature of the root that you're dealing with here, right? I'm just saying. Now, if you want to grind up turnip skins, which actually, honestly, now that's a sharp, right? That's a sharp, and it in the right amount in terms of in moderation, mixed in with something else, it could really enhance whatever it is that you're trying to do. So maybe I'll try that. Yeah, I'm just wondering if it dehydrates with a lot of sugar. Well, I'll just buy some turnip. I'll try it. I don't really like... I shredded turnip from when they gave me turnip from across the street. I found that it didn't really hold up very well. Maybe a powder state of it might work good, actually. So maybe I'll do that. I'll spend $10 on some turnips or $15 or whatever. I'll make it worth my time. $15, $20 worth on turnips, and I'll cook them up, and I'll grind the skins separate, and I'll grind the turnip after it's dry separate, and then we'll compare the two, because grinding them shredded and then putting them in a jar, I found that they didn't really, I mean, they're okay, they get soft, right? You know, they're not crispy anymore, and because I think it's to do with the sugar, honestly. It's kind of like a sweet potato. You could be drying and drying and drying and drying and drying. And 4 days later, 5 days later, and you come and it's still bending. Is because of the sugar, right? That's why. You can grind up sweet potatoes, but either or. So okay, so let's see what coming upstairs. This is on the days when I'm doing this. I appreciate that. What is it?
Okay, I gotta go put this on the key, on the bingo key.
What?
Chain. The keychain. Yours.
Why? What is that?
The new doorknob key.
Okay.
Marina changed it.
Okay. Marina changed it, eh? She got fed up waiting, eh?
They had 4, but they're gonna keep the other one just in case, for like a spare.
Yeah, I should probably get one made for a spare upstairs one day when we go out. Is this mine?
Yeah.
What is it?
Just some
What is that? What is that?
meat.
That right there is meat?
No, that's pea.
I mean a bean? It looks like a piece of plastic.
It's not.
It's shining. I don't see the green. That's a bean. I can't even see that, people. I seen it was something that looked like metal.
I need a knife.
And I'm like, metal? What the hell's in my food? My eyes are getting bad. Well, whatever it is, it's good. I'll give some to Amari.
Yeah, Marina made it.
Yeah, it's good. Whatever it is. I don't know what it is. I can't really see it. You know, life is just one big barrel of, I don't know. Okay.
Maybe when we go get this key printed out then sometime, can we print myself one? Because just in case, I can put it on my keychain.
I don't know. Let's see.
Or maybe Tisha can go print it out for us.
I don't know. Hold on.